Bob Nights. It's your friendly neighborhood penguin Bob, and today I thought I'd share some thoughts on a topic that seems to permeate this little penguin's life all the time. A thing called Murphy's Law. What's that, you say? Murphy's Law? You mean that weird list of observations about life? One and the same. So I thought I'd spend some time today going through some of those laws and just my overall general thoughts. So stay tuned, because you never know, you never can tell what this little penguin is thinking and what might come out of my little beak.
You're listening to Penguin Thoughts. These are the thoughts that penguins are thinking when they were thinking that they were thinking about the thoughts they were thinking when they were thinking them. That is, we think.
Okay, Bob and Knights, I've got a few Murphy's Laws in front of me here, and I just thought I'd read a few and share with you kind of my thoughts on it. First one, a clean shirt attracts soup of the day. If that ain't true, that is. Definitely. I don't know how many times I've been eating clam chowder and get the fish sauce all over my gut. Well, I am a short little penguin, so what do you expect? Anyway, next. One child is not enough, but two children are way too many. That is true. One child can't get into trouble much. Matter of fact, if he does, who's he gonna blame? You know who did it. Two children? It's always not me that did it. Anyway, if you don't get that, you'll get it on the bus ride home. Next one. If it says one size fits all, it doesn't fit you. That's definitely true for us penguins. We're short and kind of stout and, well, some people call it fat, but I call it stout. Anyway, nevertheless, yeah, sizes normally don't, one size fit all doesn't normally fit me. All warranties expire upon payment of the invoice. I don't know how many times that's true. Invariably, you got a car and the minute you get it paid off, that's when everything goes wrong, especially the stuff that was covered by the warranty originally. Next one. Oh, this is one of my favorite. Don't force it, just get a larger hammer. Or in my case, don't force it, get out the C4. Explosives fix a lot of things. Anyway, I'm just joking, campers. There ain't no such thing as a free lunch, although there is a free operating system called Linux. You can fool all the people some of the time and some of the people all the time, but you can't fool old dad. Not unless you butter him up with like root beer and pizza, and then, all bets are off. Anyway, people are always available for work that is already finished. That is always true. All great discoveries are made by mistake, hence the term Eureka. And yes, I know that may be a place in like South Dakota or someplace, but it's also, name of a vacuum cleaner. But besides that fact, it's also what most people say when they discovered something and they discovered it by mistake. Eureka! Success always occurs in private and failure in full public view. Ain't that true? Anytime I've had a mistake, it seems like everybody was watching me. And it wasn't a discovery either. Can't tell how deep a puddle is until you step in it. And for us penguins, when we step in it, we actually almost drown in it. 'Cause, we're short. Well, I guess for penguins, we actually don't drown in it. We kind of swim in it, but you know what I meant. After learning tricks of the trade, many of us think we know the trade. Jack of all trades, master of none. Anyway, let's see here. We didn't all come over on the same boat, but we're all in the same boat. That's for sure. And I like this one. The only sure thing about luck is that it will change. Same way with the weather. If you don't like it, wait a minute, it'll change. And then, of course, lastly, the one you probably always heard about Murphy's Law. If anything can go wrong, it will, and normally does. And it's not covered by postage. Or like my dad used to always add to the end of that, if anything can go wrong, it will, and can't be returned without a receipt. And now, I'd like to share a few of my penguin's laws with you. ones that I don't know if I live by, but ones I've kind of found as pet peeves and so forth, or just sayings that make a lot of sense to me. It may not make a lot of sense to you, but hey, I'm a penguin and you're not. Unless, of course, you can't fly, then guess what? You're a penguin. Anyway, first one. If it's not broke, don't fix it. That comes from supporting computers all these years and so forth. And I don't know how many times people want to, fix a problem that really doesn't exist, that you're just trying to fix it even though it's not broken. So if it's not broken, don't fix it. Next one, I kind of borrowed from Murphy's Law. If it jams, force it. If it breaks, it needs replacing anyway. And that's pretty common, pretty standard, especially when it comes to working on computers or working with wood or pretty much anything like cars and so forth. If you have to force it and it breaks, then you probably need to replace it anyway. And I'll just rattle off a few more here. Some of these may or may not make sense, but to me, I kind of like saying them. One of them is lather, rinse, repeat. Yes, I know you're thinking, hey, wait a minute, isn't that on the back of a bottle of shampoo? Yes, but it also applies to a lot of things when telling somebody in tech support to keep doing the same thing over again. Like, for example, constantly restarting your computer whenever you have problems may fix a thing. Lather, rinse, repeat. Another one I love comes from actually Bugs Bunny cartoons. When Daffy Duck says, "What now, brother? What a way to run a railroad." I don't know why, but I've always liked that saying. Where this comes from is that cartoon that Daffy Duck has multiple things going wrong and happening to him, and he finally just breaks down and says, "Boy, brother, what a way to run a railroad." It's an observation. He's wise beyond his years. Daffy Duck, that is. Next, this one's for Linux enthusiasts. You may not get this one otherwise. If all else fails, sudo rm-rf/. In Linux, that means to wipe the hard drive. It's like Format C in Windows. So if all else fails, wipe the hard drive. Not really. That's always the last resort. This one I've got on a t-shirt somewhere. It's one of my favorites. It says, "There's no place like 127.0.0.1. Now, what that means is, for you network gurus out there, your network card has what's called a IP address assigned to it when you get on the internet, or if you get on a network. Well, the IP address that's assigned to the actual network card to look back upon itself, or what's called loopback, is 127.0.0.1, aka it means home. There is no place like home, or there's no place like 127.0.0.1. This next one's got kind of a little bit of a story to it, but I love it. It's called sudo make me a sandwich. Now, what that means is, there is a cartoon I saw a number of years ago. You see in this Linux cartoon, there was these two guys that hooked up this big rig of a machine that made sandwiches, and they hooked it up to a Linux machine. So they were typing into a command line in Linux, telling it to make a sandwich from the program they made. Well, when they typed that in, it would not do it. The command would not execute. Well, sudo is a command for being like sudo root, or being giving yourself kind of full, complete access to the operating system, and that when you type in sudo space any command in Linux, it will actually do it regardless, because you all of a sudden have root access and it assumes you know what you're doing. So when you type in make me a sandwich and it won't do it, then you tell it sudo make me a sandwich, then it turns right around and the sandwich machine makes a sandwich. I know, it may not be funny to you, but it's hilarious to me. It's the geek in me. Anyway, next one, I'm going to throw a little Latin at you. And I don't say this one too often, but I've learned it over the years. It's Imperium Alternus Deletus. Now, what that means literally is alternate power cut, or in technology terms, turn off the computer, turn off the power, restart the computer. If all else fails, you're having problems with the computer, restart it. That's Imperium Alternus Deletus, or turn off the power. And then one of my all-time favorite sayings I like saying when I see something about Linux that Linux does well that maybe Windows or Mac or some other operating system doesn't do, I say power to the penguin. Power to the penguin. You know that's the reason why I'm a penguin. I love Linux. Anyway, I'll leave you with this last saying. If your computer app is running slow, hit Alt F4. I would not try this on your Windows computer at home unless you know exactly what it does. So what does Alt F4 do? It closes the current app that's running in the foreground. I remember one time I was in chat, believe it or not, Yahoo chat years ago, and one of the guys in the chat room was complaining about how slow the chat app was going, and I suggested jokingly, just hit Alt F4. And he closed, and he came back, and he said, wait a minute, that just closed the app. And I said, well, yeah, it makes your computer goes faster. But so even though I found it hilarious, I'm not sure he actually did. Although he spent the rest of the evening during chat trying to get other people to close their chat app. So you can try that at home on your own computer if you want there, campers. Just try it at your own risk. Anyway, so there you go, campers. Just some thoughts and observations I've made over the years about Murphy's Laws, and even come up with some of my own little penguin's laws about things that I've observed about supporting people with technology, or just about other things and about life in general. So I hope you enjoyed it, and remember, if anything can go wrong, it will. So there you have it, Bobbinites. Penguin's thoughts on a few of Murphy's Laws, and even some observations that this little penguin has made over the years and made into his own Penguin's Laws. So my hope is that you found this a bit informative and maybe gives you a better understanding about this little techie penguin and just what makes him the way he is. Oh joy, what fun, talking about myself in the third person again. Anywho, I hope you decide to come back and listen to more podcasts from yours truly, and if you're so inclined, I also have a YouTube channel where I make rather silly videos, as well as other social media sites, which are all linked on my Anchor podcast page, and I would be greatly honored if you come and visit and even subscribe. And as always, I am the crazy and silly penguin named WhataboutBob, and I'm out the window because the door is shut. There truly is no place like 127.0.0.1. Later, peeps.